Right. Exercise 21.3. Under that question number 1. Sugar and flour were mixed in the ratio 3 to 5 to prepare a mixture of sweetmeat. If the mass of sugar used was 750 grams, right? So sugar was used 750 grams. Find the total mass of the sweetmeat mixture, right? Okay. So first of all, we have to try to understand this question, right? So here, sugar and flour were mixed into a certain ratio, right? And the amount of sugar that was used is 750 grams, right? So we know the ratio, no? We know the amount of sugar and we know the ratio 3 to 5, right? So in the question they are asking us what? Calculate the total mass of the mixture, right? Am I correct? Yes. Find the total mass of the sweetmeat mixture. Okay? So what is the first thing that we need to do? Now we know how much was used in the sweetmeat mixture. How much sugar? That is 750 grams. We don't know the amount of flour that was used. Right? මේ mixture එකේ පිටි කොච්චරක් ගත්තද කියන එක අපි දන්නේ නැත්තේ. But we have some information that we can find the amount of flour that has been used. What is that? We know the ratio, which is 3 to 5. We know the amount of sugar, which is 750 grams. By using those information, what can we find? We can find what? The value of 1 part. What is the value of 1 part? That is equal to what? 750, we have to divide it by 3, no? Right? So 3 times 1, 3 times 2, and 5 and 0. So value of 1 part is 250. Now these are what? These are grams, right? So if 1 part is 250 grams, how much is 5 parts? From that we can calculate the mass of flour, right? So the mass of flour, value of 1 part into total number of parts, right? 250 into 5, what is that? 1250 grams. Right. So the total mass, what is that? Total mass 750 grams plus 1250 grams. So what is that? 2000 grams, or we can say 2 kilograms. Right. So that will be the answer. Right. Question number 2. Sirimal rides a bike from his house to the bus halt and then takes a bus when he travels to school. The ratio of the distance he travels by bike to the distance he travels by bus is 2 to 7. Okay, so we will first of all write it down. Bike to bus. So the ratio is 2 to 7. If the distance he travels by bus is 14 kilometers, right? So by using the bus, the distance is what? 14 kilometers. Okay. What is the distance to the school from his house? So basically, what are they asking? Sirimal, right? He travels from home to the school using by what? First of all, he takes the bike and rides to the bus halt. Then he takes a bus to the school, right? So that is the way that Sirimal goes to school daily according to this question, right? So in the question, we have been given the distance that he travels using the bus, but we don't know what is the distance from his house to the bus halt. Bus halt එකේ bike එක නැගලානේ. හරිද? ඒකේ අපිට දීලා නැහැ කොච්චරද කියලා. So we have to find it. How can we do it? The first thing is we can easily calculate the value of 1 part. What is 1 part equal to? The distance that he travels using the bus is 14 kilometers. From that, we can easily calculate the value of one part. What do we have to do? 14 we have to divide by 7. So that will be what? 2. So one part is equal to 2. So here, what is this 2? These are kilometers. So we know the value of one part, which is 2 kilometers. Right? Then what is the distance that he used the bike to ride to the bus halt? The distance between the home and the bus halt, what is that? How many parts are there? 2. What is the value of one equal part? 2 kilometers. So one equal part is equal to 2 kilometers. How many equal parts are there? 2. So what is the total amount? 2 into 2, which is 4 kilometers. Now we know the distance from Sirimal's home to the bus halt is 4 kilometers, and the distance that he travels is 14 kilometers. Then what is the total amount? 18 kilometers. 18 kilometers. Right. Question number 3. A fruit drink is made using water and orange juice in the ratio 5 to 7. Right? So water and orange juice, the ratio is 5 to 7. If the quantity of the orange juice used is 350 milliliters, right? So orange juice, it has been used 350 milliliters. What is the total volume of the fruit drink that is made? Right. So by taking a look at the ratio, right, we know it is 5 to 7, and also 7 parts are equal to what? 350 milliliters. So we can calculate the value of one part. That means what? 350 we have to divide by 7. 350 divided by 7, we know that is 50. These are milliliters. So one part is equal to 50 milliliters. So we know the amount of orange juice that has been used. So we need to calculate the value of water. Value in the sense, the amount, right, in milliliters, right? So how can we do that? Here we have 5 parts. We know the amount of one part is 50 milliliters. Then therefore 5 parts. So this is water. So that is what? 50 into 5, which will be 250 milliliters. Right. So now what do we have to do? We know the amount of orange juice, which is 350 milliliters, and we have calculated the amount of water that has been used, which is 250 milliliters. Simply what do we have to do? We have to add these together. So 350 plus 250, what is that? 600, no? 600 milliliters. So that is the answer. Right. So we can come up with the answer in this way also. Right? So we know the value of one part. How many total parts are there? Right? We have water and orange juice, no? So the ratio is 5 to 7. Right? So what is the total number of equal parts? 5 plus 7, what is that? 5 plus 7, we get 12. So we know the value of one part is 50 milliliters. Therefore, value of 12 parts, what is that? 50 into 12. Right? So what do we get? 600. So these are what? Milliliters. Right. Question number 4. The ratio of nitrogen to phosphorus to potassium in a fertilizer is 5 to 2 to 1. If the mass of phosphorus in a bag of this fertilizer is 250 grams, what is the total mass of the bag? Okay, so I have written down the ratio nitrogen to phosphorus to potassium 5 to 2 to 1. Right? So we have been given in this mixture, right, the amount of phosphorus is 250 grams. Right? 250. Okay. So from that we can calculate the value of one part. Right? 2 parts are equal to 250 grams. Then what is the value of one part? Simply take 250 and divide it by 2. So what do we get? 125 grams. We need to calculate the total mass now, right? How many parts are here in total? 5 plus 2 plus 1, which is 8. If one part is equal to 125 grams, what is the value of 8 parts? How do we calculate it? Take 8 and multiply it by 125. So 100 into 8, what is that? 800 grams. 25 into 8, we know that is 200 grams. When we add these two together, we get 1000 grams. So here the answer is what? 1000 grams, or we can say what? 1 kilogram. Both answers are correct. Right. So in this question, there's another way also. Right? So that way is, we can separately calculate the amount of nitrogen, right, and potassium. The amount of phosphorus that has been given to us now. So we calculated the value of one part, right? So by using that information, we can calculate the amount of phosphorus and potassium, right? So if you can remember, the ratio is, right, nitrogen to phosphorus to potassium, the ratio is 5 to 2 to 1. So value of one part, 125 grams. So that means the amount of potassium is equal to what? 125 into 1, which is 125 grams. Then the amount of nitrogen is what? 125 into 5, right? So 100 into 5, we know that is 500. 25 into 5, we know that is 125. When we add these together, we get what? 625. So the nitrogen amount is what? 625 grams. We know the phosphorus amount. It has been given to us. So that is what? 250 grams. So what can we do? We can add these values together, right? So that means 125, then we have 250, and then we have 625. 1 plus 2 plus 3 to calculate the total, right? So what do we get? 1000 grams, 1 kilograms. So when we add these values, right, there's another way we can do this, right? So 25 plus 25, we know that's a 50. 50 plus 50, we know that's 100, right? So keep it in your mind. So there's 100. 600 plus 200, we know that is 800. 800 plus 100, we know that is 900. 900 plus that 100 that we kept, what is that? 1000 grams, right? When making a mixture of plaster, the ratio in which cement, lime and sand are mixed is 2 to 3 to 5. If the quantity of lime in a mixture of plaster is 6 pans, so lime, we have 6 pans. What is the total quantity of mixture measured in pans? Okay, so just as before, we can calculate the value of one part, right? We know the term related to lime and we know the number of pans, right? Okay, so these are pans. Tachi kineka. Sorry. So value of one part is what? 6 divided by 3. So we get 2. These are what? Pans. Tachi. How many total parts are there? So how many total parts are there? 2 plus 3 plus 5, which is 10. If one part is 2 pans, what is 10 parts? What do we have to do? 2, we have to multiply that by 10. What do we get? 20, but these are pans. So that is the answer. Okay, exercise 21.4 under that question number 1. Sesame balls are made by mixing sesame and jaggery in the ratio of 5 to 4. So we will write that. How much jaggery is required to make sesame balls if 500 grams of sesame is used? Right. So we know the amount of sesame that has been used, which is 500 grams. So we can calculate the value of 1 part, right? So what is the value of 1 part? 500 divided by 5. So what do we get? 100. So these are grams, right? So what are they asking? How much jaggery is required if 500 grams of sesame is used? So we have to calculate the amount of jaggery, no? Right. So how many parts are there? 4. So what can we do? The number of equal parts are 4. We know the value of 1 part, which is 100. So we need to multiply that by 4, right? So value of 4 parts. So this 4 means what? Number of equal parts, right? So that is equal to the term. We are referring the term here, right? So this is equal to what? 100 into 4, which is 400 grams. Right, question number 2. The ratio of female workers to male workers in an office is 3 to 2, right? So female to male. If there are 18 female workers, so number of female workers are what? 18. Find the number of male workers, right? So just as before, here we can calculate what is equal to 1 part. 18, we have to divide it by 3. So we get what? 6. So they are asking us how many male workers are there. If 1 part is equal to 6, how many parts are there for males? Or what is the term in the ratio related to males? 2. So what do we have to do? We have to multiply this by 2. So value of 2 parts, right? So this is what? Number of males, right? So 6 we have to multiply that by 2. So we get what? 12. Question number 3. Tea and milk are mixed in the ratio 2 to 5. When making milk tea, how many milliliters of tea should be used to make milk tea if 100 milliliters of milk is used? So here the amount of milk in milliliters we know, which is 100 milliliters. So try to understand this question, right? Now the ratio has been given to us, no? 2 to 5. So you have to remember, right? Even though that these are numbers or terms, right? These are equal parts, right? So I'm not telling that 2 is equal to 5, right? So how many total parts are here? 2 plus 5, what is that? 7. Those 7 parts are equal. We have a 7 of equal parts. එක සමාන කොටස් 7ක් තියෙනවා. 7ක් වුණාට ඒ කොටස් 7ම එක සමානයි. Right? So we have been given the amount of milk in milliliters, which is 100. So from there we can find the value of 1 part. 1 part is equal to what? 100 we have to divide by 5. That means what? 20. In this case these are milliliters. Right. So they are asking the amount of tea, no? So that means, what is the term there? 2. That means 2 equal parts. Right? So value of 2 parts. So what is that? 20 into 2, which is 40 milliliters. Question number 4. Mr. Pereira's saving to expenditure ratio is 3 to 7. So I'll put S for saving and E for expenditure, right? So the ratio is 3 to 7. If his savings during a certain month was 6,000 rupees, how much money did he spend that month? So here also we can calculate the value of 1 part, no? Right? So savings that has been given to us, no? What is that? 6,000 rupees, right? So what is the value of 1 part? 6,000 we have to divide it by 3. So what do we get? 2,000. So that is the value of one part. So in expenditure or expenses, we have 7 parts. So the amount or value of 7 parts. So 2,000 we have to multiply that by 7. We get what? 14,000 rupees. Question number 5. An alloy is made by mixing masses of zinc and copper in the ratio 2 to 5. So the ratio is 2 to 5. So we have several parts in the question. So part 1. If the mass of zinc in a sample of this alloy is 6 kilograms, what is the mass of copper? So here, what is the amount of zinc? We have 6 kilograms, no? In the ratio 2 to 5, the term under zinc is what? 2, right? That means 2 equal parts is equal to 6 kilograms. So what is the value of one part? 6 divided by 2, which is 3. In this case, these are kilograms. So we need the amount of copper, right? So how many equal parts are there? 5. So 5 parts. That means what? 3 into 5, which is 15 kilograms. Part 2. If the mass of copper in a sample of this alloy is 10 kilograms, what is the mass of zinc? So the amount of copper is 10 kilograms, right? Copper. That means 5 equal parts are what? 10 kilograms. So what is the value of one part? 10. We have to divide by 5. So we get 2 kilograms. Here we are dividing 10 kilograms. Now zinc. How many equal parts are there? 2. So 2 parts. Value of 2 parts. That means 2 into 2, which is 4 kilograms. Third part. Find the mass of copper in 28 kilograms of the alloy. So now the alloy, the weight of that is given to us, right? Which is what? 28 kilograms. Okay. So we need to calculate what? The mass of copper. So here, how many total parts are there? The ratio is 2 to 5. That means number of equal parts are what? 7. Right? Now, out of those 7 equal parts, right? 5 parts are copper and 2 parts are zinc. So in the question they are asking, find the mass of copper in 28 kilograms of alloy. So we need to calculate the amount of copper, right? So we need to calculate the value of one part, right? So value of one part, that means what? 28 we have to divide by 7. Now we are talking about the alloy, right? 28 divided by 7, we know that is 4. So these are 4 kilograms, right? So they are asking the amount of copper, no? So the term is what? 5. So 5 parts is equal to what? 4 into 5, which is 20 kilograms. Part 4. If the mass of zinc in a sample of this alloy is 2 kilograms, what is the mass of the sample? Right. So that means the amount of zinc, right, is 2 kilograms. But that is the amount of zinc in this alloy. Alloy එකේම zinc kilogram දෙකක් තියෙනවා. So that means we can find the value of one part. So that is what? 2 we have to divide by 2. So we get 1. So these are kilograms. Now we need to find the total mass, no? Sample එකේ බර කීයද කියලා නහන්නේ. How many total parts are there? 2 plus 5, 7. So 7 parts. That means what? 1 into 7, which is 7 kilograms. Okay, miscellaneous questions under that. Question number 1. Silver and copper were mixed in the ratio 2 to 3 to make a statue. If the mass of the statue is 1425 grams, so the total mass is what? 1425 grams. Find the mass of silver in the statue. Okay. So they are asking about the mass of silver. So we know the total mass and the ratio we know, which is 2 to 3. So we can clearly calculate the value of one part. So one part is equal to what? One part is equal to 1425 divided by 5. So here what do we get? 14 divided by 5 we get 2. For 42 we get 8. For 25 we get what? 5. So the value of one part is 285 grams. So they are asking the amount of silver, no? So how many parts are there in the ratio regarding silver? We have 2 parts. So value of 2 parts. We need to calculate the value of 2 parts. That means 285 into 2, right? So 200 into 2, we know that is 400. 80 into 2, we know that is 160. 5 into 2, we know that is 10. So altogether how many are there? We have 570 grams. So this is equal to what? 570 grams. Question number 2. Kamalini, Nimal and Tharaka divided several Verulu, within brackets, olives, among themselves in the ratio 1 to 3 to 5. So we have Kamalini, then we have Nimal, then we have Tharaka. So I have put KNT, right? So the ratio is 1 to 3 to 5. If Tharaka received 15 Verulu, right? So Tharaka got 15 Verulu. How many Verulu did Kamalini receive? So Tharaka received 15, no? Right? So we know the term related to Tharaka is 5. That means we can calculate the value of one part. So that is what? 15 we have to divide by 5. So that is 3. The term under Kamalini is what? 1, no? So what do we do? So she also received one part, right? So one part, that means Kamalini, amount of Verulu that she received is what? 3. Or 1 into 3. Find also the number of Verulu Nimal received. Okay. So we know the value of one part, right? So these are Verulu. Right? So how many equal parts does Nimal receive? 3, right? So value of 3 parts. So these are Nimal. That means 3. That means value of one part multiplied by number of parts, which is 3. 3 into 3, that is 9. These are 9 Verulu, olives. Question number 3. The ratio of Sinhalese to Tamils to Muslims in a certain city is 5 to 4 to 3, right? If the total population in the city is 7,200, find how many Sinhalese there are in the city. Right, so the total population is given to us, which is 7,200. This is the population in numbers. So we have been given the ratio, no? So we can calculate the value of one part. How many total parts are there? 5 plus 4, that's a 9. 9 plus 3, that's a 12, right? So 7,200 we have to divide by 12. So here what do we get? We get 600. So value of one part is 600. Now these are people. So under Sinhalese, what is the term? 5. That means value of 5 parts. So that is what? 600 into 5, which is 3000.